Hello, and welcome to another Wargame replay with me, Rangru. And today we have a 1v1 in hell in a very small place from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Hardened tournament. In Rel, on the left hand side, in the blue, we have ourselves a Cheese Inspector, playing as, I guess, a kind of cheesy blue 4 general deck. I hope he doesn't come to inspect my cheese shop. He won't really find much cheese here to begin with. On the right hand side in the red, we have Satyr playing as a Blue Dragons mechanized deck. So a bit of blue on blue action. And right off the bat, Cheese Inspector going right down the highway by the dam. Or I guess river, I should say, it's not much of a dam. AMX 10s, ab auto cannons, the whole works. Using smoke to great effect. There's barely anything in Charlie here, so he can just make the end run. You know, up north, we are seeing Satyr push pretty aggressively into Gove. Going to be trying to reach a opposing village here. He has a decent amount of firepower. But of course, lots of infantry, as he is a mechanized deck. I don't think he's going to be able to, beat Cheese Inspector to the punch in regards to getting to the village. And yeah, with the Nordland Eagers, with the recoilless rifles, it's going to be pretty hard to get close now. And down south, Cheese Inspector getting the Rema to pretty much cover the bridge. That's a huge location. There's not much in Charlie. Actually, Satyr's forces having to be relocated down south into Foxtrot here. Got the 2K1 skirmishing around. They're going to have to face off against two of their brethren. The joys of blue on blue matchups can get a bit confusing on which K1s are who K1s. Yeah, very interesting deployment right off the bat from both sides. Very aggressive play. Of course, Cheese Inspector does have the better play, because if he captures Charlie, that's a +2 sector, while Gove is only +1. And Bravo is pretty clearly under Cheese's control. So he's in a pretty good spot, and heck, even Gove, he still has a foothold onto that. Northern Jaeger is going to be rather nasty to route out without some heavy fire support. Especially considering they have 15-man teams. The K1s are going at it, but Satyr has more K1s, which rightfully he should, as he is playing the Blue Dragons mechanized, rather than just a general blue. A bit more heavy helicopter play here from Satyr. Gets in the Vietnam era Cobras to come in and give some fire support to clear up the Remas easy peasy style. And Cheese Inspector has no more Crotal missiles, so he can't really do too much. And does he? Okay, he does have a supply truck coming up. And some AMX 10s. The main thing is Cheese Inspector still holds onto a foothold of Charlie, which is pretty damn decent. Gonna be hard to route him out once again, using those Norland Eagers to great effect. Very, very good against a Blue Dragons mechanized deck, or really mechanized decks in general, because we're not really having to worry about heavy armored units. Most of it is just gonna be lightly armored APCs and IFVs. I mean, you got a few K1s here, but only, I'd say only 17 frontal armor, which is much more than 12, but still, that's really it. There's not a whole lot of tanks you have to worry about. These K200s, gonna have a bad time if the rockets actually get off. But the K1 here is coming pretty clutch. Yeah, just a very interesting deployment all in all so far. Like the cheesy rush here from Cheese Inspector, I'm not going to stop with the cheese puns by the way, has worked out really well. got a very good foothold onto the enemy location. Though Satyr can still definitely make a play as he has 4k runs here located in Foxtrot. Definitely could use a little bit more reconnaissance or infantry screening forces before he commits. I understand why he's playing pretty defensively again, because he doesn't really know what's up ahead. But the Sochongs and the LAV-25s are making decent progress. But the K-Rons are popping in and out of the forest. Getting snipes here, there, and, well, everywhere. Jesus trying to make a bit more of a concerted push into Foxtrot here. Skirmishing back and forth between his armoured vehicles and reconnaissance troops. Mando Paras seem to be able to finish off the Sochongs. Norland Eagles are taking some pretty heavy casualties, only down to one squad. Well, the AMX-10 is here to protect him with its 105mm gun, which, as we know, is pretty nasty. Especially for 30 points, it's really not bad for 30 points. Seeing a whole heap of infantry reinforcements here from Satyr. It seems things have managed to die down. Both sides are settling into the front lines. Be curious to see if Satyr actually decides to make a bit more of an aggressive play up north into go. If he does have the other heavy fire support now with the Cobra, which is really all he needs to just knock out Norlands. Nordlands, I should say. Oh no, it's Norlands. There's no D in the Nor. Nor should there be. The K-Ron blob is trying to engage. Oh geez, is doing enough just to keep him pinned down. Not wanting to risk it potentially getting shot at by Shumat ATGMs or other sneaky K1s. Satyr is actually cleaning up Charlie now, just dealing with the last infantry resistances. So I'd definitely give him a little bit of breathing room. And we did see an Echo CVB brought out, but Satyr is on the ball and going to be bringing one up onto Charlie. So he's not going to be losing by a huge point advantage, which is a smart move. In good timing too, considering he just cleared out the sector essentially. Those Rove 8s can still come in and prove to be a bit of a pain, of course. I'm guessing he's taking the Rove 8s not really for the infantry themselves, but for the Zelda transport. Those 5 points for 3 machine guns on a transport is not power creep whatsoever. Completely balanced, I swear. Satyr is still trying to make those infantry plays, but She's has a good control on the Foxtrot, and even though he has lost Charlie, he's still in a very good spot. He can contest Foxtrot, capture Bravo easily. I don't feel like Satyr is really going to try and contest it, even though I wish we saw people could try to contest it a little bit more. All he has to do is play in the forest and just put a CVVO on to neutralize the point. You don't have to fully capture it. It can be very much a pain to do that. Seems like I'm going to be seeing the CV up to Golf in a minute. Try to keep things neutralized. And probably you'll see CV captures and Foxtrot from both sides And there's that K1 blob. Moving in unsupported, no recon. A bit risky, but, well, it's 4 K1s, are you going to tell them to stop? Oh no, he has 6 K1s. That's a lot of K1s. But really not a whole lot of anti-tank here. And Cheese Inspector does have access to the HA Abrams, which would be a pretty good counter to these K1s and a tank-on-tank fight. But still, that's a lot of K1s, and they have a pretty... Okay, the gun's, like, decent. Pretty low APO. But the accuracy and rate of fire and all of that is pretty nice. But when there's no other heavy tanks to deal with, it doesn't really matter. You can just kill these LAVs and other K1s easy peasy. Even capture an enemy supply truck to boot. But he's definitely picking up that momentum now. After that initial setback from that rush. Inarima's trying to move up north, but those Chongs and the mortars should be enough to keep him back. The Vabs may have something to say about that. There we go, the Foxtrot being completely captured here. And that Stevie and Ghost just needs to unload, and Satyr will be getting that Street plus run. And that completely turns the map advantage into Satyr's favour. I just need some anti-air to deal with that Apache. Fortunately, it's just the regular old boring Apache, so those Hellfire missiles aren't the fire and forget ones. You may not want to get too close here, because autocannon fire can be deadly to one's health. Yeah, Satyr can just pretty much sit easy on a nice +1. If you assume Clyde, he could try to make that Bravo play, but he's doing pretty good how he is. As long as he control onto his hill, he'll be good. And it's going to be very hard to get a CV to sneak up onto Gulf. There's really not many locations where he can hide, especially if the range is about. There's just so many K1s. It's a ridiculous number. Both sides are just redeploying and reinforcing. I think we're going to see his K1s as he maneuver themselves up north to try and clear out that sector. They're like gonna need a bit of R&R before they continue moving about. And just a little bit of more to play back and forth. Nothing all that interesting, just speeding through as we're just getting into the skirmishy stage of this replay. You have the Mistral Man pad here. I think man's in a sniper on helicopter. I've seen the Vab autocannon push here. Fortunately, there's no K1s on the hill, probably scared off due to the Apache. So I think Cheese Inspector might be able to regain a position onto that hill at least. Here comes the supply trucks. Hopefully to give those K1 some fuel, even though he does have the fuel turned off. Here we go, fuel's on. Those K1s can start moving again with their gas guzzling engines. Yeah, it's just water play back and forth here. You know, a lot of smoke being dropped behind the Norlands. And onto his Sochong push. Oh, lovely sniper from the Crow Tower. Killing that helicopter. And all the K1s are coming back. Refueled and ready. It's still a matter of the Apache. And there's the Ihawk here, but he's not in range. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't used these K1s to maybe maneuver up north and try to knock out the infantry here, but I guess he really doesn't need to. I mean, he's got the point under control, and it's going to be hard for the enemy to put a CV there. So, no point really wasting the effort in doing that. Swan attempted Kerner strike on the K1, but they do relocate in the nick of time. Apache is just screening, trying to find a location to shoot those bloody tanks. They have an infantry skirmish here. Satyr trying to hold onto the forest, losing the KV-107s. Oh, not really much of a loss. And these Fabs coming in very clutch, suppressing the infantry. But Satyr seems going to be able to hold on to the point. Cheese Inspector will be pulling back. Even though it seems like Cheese could have been able to finish him off here. Though I guess, probably in hindsight, it's a right idea to move as we see those K1s, or he probably doesn't know that the K1s have relocated to try and stop it. Oh, here we go, we are finally seeing the HA Abrams. That's going to be a rather nasty customer for the K1s to deal with. They can barely penetrate its frontal armor. This is Wargame Red Dragon, where super heavy tanks are the name of the game. Not like Steel Division where you can like effectively stress him out and side shot him. Jesus, skirmishing back and forth, toying with the idea of getting into that forest. We also see those 3K1s actually back off a little bit. Quite surprised he isn't going right in there for the kill against the HA. Though now he is. Trying to avoid those bombs. Seeing the Roviades being brought in now. Yeah, it's really just going to come down to the HA Abrams, it feels like. If he can effectively kill those K1s and all the other nasty Blue Dragons infantry. Yeah, we got the Peace Pheasant coming in, and hey, who needs to use tanks when you have F4s with Maverick missiles? That's a very damn effective kill here. And heck, our Peace Pheasant, yeah, it's only a 90-point airplane. If you lose it and only kill one tank like that, doesn't matter. You paid yourself off. Which is why we see a lot of those F4 Peace Pheasants or Peace Planes being used. Even though they're not very peaceful to enemy tankers. Or else seen Cheese Inspector try to get the CV under Foxtrot here. Thinks he's going to try to sneak it up into the hill sector. Or use the popular location. But even then, it's only 15 minutes left in the match. Near's 100 points he's going to have to catch up to. And that's a lot of points. That's going to be a bit difficult. Like, you really need to get a +2. The main thing is Cheese has managed to get a foothold back into that Foxtrot forest of his. Doesn't really have much left here to hold it after the push, really just some APCs and a few rifle scratch here and there. So it won't be too hard to push them back out. Especially in the K1s have taken some heavy casualties here. We still have this platoon of K1s up north too. I feel like a broken record just mentioning K1s all the bloody time. Oh no, there's the 3 K1s still here. They were just hiding. I think we're just going to be seeing some more to play onto the 2 mats to knock him out. And all it takes is one good hit to kill a 2-man team. We're seeing a second H.A. Abrams. I wouldn't be surprised if the same fate will befall upon him as his previous brethren, as he's taken a Maverick missile to the face. We're seeing a second H.A. Abrams. But she's really going all in here, and finally we're actually seeing Satyr push into Bravo with a decent amount of infantry forces. I mean, he can definitely contest this. He's a mechanized division, of course. He can fight in these forest fights pretty effectively. Once again, he doesn't have to fully capture the point, just hold onto the forest, neutralize it with a CV. And that seems exactly what he's going to be doing here, and I love this sort of play. As Bravo is usually just very much ignored in 1v1s if you're playing on the right hand flank. I'm really curious to see how your H.A. Abrams will be deployed. Hopefully effectively. We're seeing Satyr move up the hill from the northern flank. And that one Vab is holding him down, but here comes the K1 platoon. They don't mess about. Love his flanking maneuver here. Of course, he is going to be a little bit timid as that Apache can cause a bit of havoc. I really need to do more zoomed in shots like this. I forgot just how cool this game can look. A very cinematic game. Especially when there's artillery flying in the sky. I make a note and try to do that a little bit more often. Yeah, the M270 just firing away. I think he's trying to get the CV snipe on Foxtrot. Oh no, he's firing to go for my bad. But once again, trying to get a CV snipe. But just landing around the village and not into the village. Like how last shell just hit the lake and no explosion. Here comes that peaceful pheasant, going in for the H. Abrams. It's run. Second missile does it, and he almost crashes into the other tank, yeah. It does it another time with the HAs, but doesn't get a kill, but 1 HP. That's pretty much good enough. Gonna put that thing out of action, and yeah, those peace pheasants are extremely effective, especially when our cheese inspector's anti-air is out of ammunition. I mean, both did go down. So not bad at all. F-18 Hornet returning in kind against the K-1s, but harder to get that cost efficiency. As it's a much more expensive plane. At 160 points. So I read my other monitor for the deck loadout. Knocking that H.A. Abrams out of commission. Well, he's gonna go back in, but just a light breeze on him will kill him. Yeah, pretty much that H.A. Abrams being knocked out of commission will deter any more future pushes, I think, here from Cheese and Spectrum to Foxtrot. Just doesn't really have the forces here, and Satyr managing to get onto the hill. And it's not going to be too long before he can just snipe his CV here. It is only a... It's an armoured APC, but the Israelis forgot to put a machine gun on top of it. The secret doesn't have a machine gun. Usually all armoured APCs have some sort of GPMG on top. Maybe I just do drive-bys of Uzis, who knows. Yeah, Satyr the plus run pretty much has this in the bag. He has spotted a CV in Bravo. But Satyr's forces is enough to keep him at bay. It's a huge infantry blob. Probably tried to attempt to CV snipe it with the M270, I bet. And we are going to see a tap out, yeah, from Cheese and Spectre. And that'd be a GG to Satyr, getting roughly a 700 kill difference share between him and Cheese and Spectre. But a very fun match. The opening was pretty nuts. I always love seeing those river rushes on hell in a very small place. And of course with Blue 4 General, the AMX-10s, it's a pretty good strategy if you can make it work. But Satyr managing to hold strong and using the K1s very efficiently to win those all-important firefights. And well, I think that pretty much covers this replay. And I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another Rangru Wargame cast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, please just take it easy.